Welcome to Worldbuild with us, the podcast where we create fantastical worlds with help from you, our listeners. My name is Rob Hilferty, and I'm here with my co-hosts Daniel Quinn and Christopher Prunty. On today's episode, a listener prompt is prompting us to dig deep into the world of godhood once again. This email is coming from Dylan, who says, I love you guys' show, and I thought I should send in an idea for a world. One where anyone can gain godhood with enough followers. So most places are ruled by these god kings. I also imagine it as a sci-fi world. Thank you very much, Dylan. Short and sweet, and yet rife with possibilities. So, gentlemen, this sounds a little bit like our episode Land of a Thousand Gods, but I want to make sure that it sounds, that we kind of get far enough away from that as possible. So what are your tenets that we can kind of make it interesting and different from what we've done before?
I want it to be that the process of getting enough followers and what needs to be known about that is a closely guarded secret. I don't want it to be like public knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to have everyone beating each other down and being like, no, they're following me. And so I wanted it to be like, yes, anyone can become a god with enough followers, but that's like step one. There's still 2 to 12 that you have to know as well
for the profit step.
How esoteric is this, and who knows the secret? So how do you attain godhood?
I think for the most part, the esoteric steps of it are somewhat easy, as let's say that godhood is like a building block of the universe, in the sense that there is a god. So doing the esoteric things are pretty mundane, but the act of solidifying yourself in people's minds as a god, you kind of have to develop that cult-like status. That's the hard part.
So you're saying it's not so much it's esoteric, it's just a lot of work.
Correct, but it's also the fact that you gotta want it enough, because the only people who become gods are the people who, in my eyes, would have been cult leaders in this world.
See, you say cult leaders, and my brain went with social media influencers.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah,
that
you did.
My tenet. I'm right there with you.
In this world, I'm an atheist.
We're gonna tag team this fucking tenet, then, Daniel, because
I think I know exactly what you're going for.
I mean, mine was pretty simple. Is that the way that you gain the most followers is through social media influence and celebrity?
That's literally what mine was.
It's just one of those things where we saw it, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Yeah,
followers. Well, I was thinking sci-fi too, and I'm like, well, you said literally the word followers and quote unquote godhood, and it's a sci-fi.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm glad that we're on the same page here, Daniel, so we can even expound upon that further.
Yep.
So what's
becoming godhood is getting Twitter verified?
Yes. Oh my God. Well, that's a step. It's a step, like you were saying. There's steps.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh my God.
That blue check mark, bam. That's your first step.
Like, yeah. Now you got to fight the other blue check marks and get your way up there.
Okay, hold on. Now I'm just.
Oh my God. Trump. What to say? He's a god that's fallen.
Oh my God. There's so much that we can do with this, because
he still exists in parlor, they say.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, that's amazing. I was also thinking, like, wait a minute, is this just going to become an ultra violent game of Pikmin, where like you send your social media followers out to fight the other social media followers?
Well, I mean, okay, like the prompt mentions like domains, essentially. Like it's talking about what's the exact wording? It's like most every land is controlled by these gods, right? These god kings. Well, if you think of that as like, at least in the real world, as like ideological circles, there's usually like a kingpin who is in charge of all of his followers, and he has the most influence. And okay, obviously the simplest and clearest example today would be a Trump, right? Who is the god of his particular domain. And so he said some. So like not all domains have a god, like a subject matter that's controlled. So I wonder in this setting, what does that mean? Does that mean like, is this like a virtual landscape? Is this like, a physical world where it's about ideology and the followers give you power? Like, that's the question, right?
Well, we could also steal from the wicked and the divine and have it be so like they're literal celebrities. And so, there's the god of death who is an actual goth rock person,
Yes.
So we can have stuff like that, where we can kind of play and twist with how social media and new media would kind of influence godhood and whatnot today.
I mean, is the power they're gaining, is it a literal power, or is it like, so what I mean by that is like, am I literally getting a physical hammer of magic that I can summon because I've got this godlike power, or is it more like, if this is a virtual realm, like I have some kind of influence over things digitally? Because again, it's a sci-fi, right?
Right. I was thinking more along the lines of this might be a situation where these certain people there's something awakened within them when they reach certain amounts of followers, right? So it is a power scaling where, okay, you hate anime, right, Daniel? You hate Dragon Ball Z. There's an episode where Goku's like, send him your spirit energy, and everyone lifts their hands to the sky and sends Goku the spirit energy to destroy Boo, right? I'm a big fucking nerd. I know what's going on.
Gagging.
It'd be like that, but like subconsciously or unconsciously, like that kind of thing.
I want all of my followers out there today to think.
Oh my God, it's a literal call to action. Holy shit,
like,
you're so right, Chris.
Can we, so lattice of sci-fi, can we make, because I kind of don't want to do VR again, right? I don't know how everyone feels about that.
Oh no, I don't want to do VR either. I'm thinking in actual real ass world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking one of the ways we could pull it off is, instead of VR, what if we do like an AR kind of reality? So it's physical reality, right? But you've got a layer of digital stuff that facilitates this power, right? That can be emulated.
Alternatively, we can go from pure sci-fi to sci-fantasy, and have, as Chris was alluding to, how like when YouTubers and social media influencers, they're like, make sure to smash that like button. That is, so like doing stuff like that is called a call to action, and those call to actions could be literal rituals that those followers actually do and follow through with.
So like they're using some kind of actual real world technology, but there's some kind of like fantastical effect.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking. Like you're using this technology to influence your followers to do parts of the ritual that then feed into this funnel, like into your power.
So it's kind of like there's a cult out there and they have this fantastical power, but it's being mediated through modern day technology.
Essentially, yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. It makes you think of well, there's a documentary by not a documentary, it's a movie, but it kind of feels like one called The Sound of My Voice. And it's the girl who is in, she's a director and an actress in it. She does Another Earth and she's in the OA. But she plays like a cult figure. And it makes you think of that because it's like this modern setting, but she has like the magic of a cult figure and you're not sure. She claims to be from the future. It makes you think of like, okay, you've got this modern day setting or the sci-fi setting, but somehow it also feels fantastical.
That's So let's stick with that then. Let's do that. And I actually, for my second tenet, I know that we kind of skim by real quick, but for my second tenet, I just want to bring this up real quick because I think it's necessary. I had this idea that the reason that all of these social media personalities are becoming gods is because in the setting of this world, the old religions have recently died off for some reason, whether it be the gods themselves or the structure that is the religious institutions have collapsed. And as a result, it's like you hit the reset button for religion, which is why all of these new religious leaders are popping up. And because it's basically a modern, setting now, or a futurist setting, now you're getting into, well, what is influence and what is power? And in that sense, in this world that we're creating, it's social media influence. So that's kind of like the justification that I had for this new sense of godhood, is that something happened in the world where previous religious institutes or gods have basically died off in some way.
I mean, it makes sense because if the religious leaders of the past of the traditional old religions have fallen out of fashion with the way we communicate, especially with everything's like dominated by social media, and like these influencers have attracted cult followings or like even political figures like Trump, then the old religious figures will lose power and lose followers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was also thinking that it might even correspond with some kind of revelation, where, oh, we just found evidence that this could not possibly be. And it sends like shockwaves and ripples throughout the previous religious institution. So it's like, oh, those
traditional
crumbled
God's been
instantly.
revealed to be a fraud or something in some way.
Exactly. So, something like that. Yeah, exactly. So does anyone have any other ideas surrounding like the whole God is dead, new nascent religions are kind of springing up thing? Or should we move on to the next tenet?
I do have a reason of also why the social media people and Hollywood and all of that got the god powers besides just followers.
Oh, go on.
Turns out a lot of those conspiracy theories were right.
No. Oh my God, I love it, but no. Oh, fuck. Are we getting into adrenochrome now, Chris?
I wouldn't say that far, but I did want to have like the weird worship and like parties that they did were true, and that is part of the rituals and the esoteric nature of things.
Okay, you need to explain that further because the rituals that you're talking about range from child pedophilia to so you really need to go down the fucking rabbit hole there, bro.
I kind of wanted to leave it vague on purpose. I want to say that the amount of power that they gain or gained at first and allowed them to get a foothold in the world is relative to how deep into the conspiracy web they went. Because we're talking about gods in the sense of they're subjugating people. So yeah.
Okay, so when you bring this aspect up, right, it's now becoming more of an Illuminati situation, which to me implies that there is a greater God who is bestowing these celebrities with lesser power.
Yes, we could say that. We could then go into it of where maybe it's all a test. Maybe it's a game. Maybe when we want it to be actual divinity, though, right?
I would like there. Go ahead, Daniel.
I was gonna say I because it's science fiction, I tend to resist putting a pin in like, is the thing actually, not of the material world, because science fiction cares about things being beholden in some way to science, right? Even in science fantasy, there's a hint that there's some connection to the natural world. So I would say
midichlorians.
Yeah, so I would say at best, like, because the midichlorians is their attempt to like tie Lucas's sad attempt to tie the Force to something scientific, but at the same time, like, there is a science fantasy feeling to try to Star Wars. So it's like I would want to pin it down and say this is absolutely divinity. You know what I mean?
So what's the suggestion then, Daniel?
So I'd say like maybe leave it up in the air. Is it whether I just in terms of the question of is it actual divinity? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, that's so it's magic then, or power, shall we say?
Yeah, or are we trying to say like where the influence they get from having the followers? Like, is that we're trying to discuss the nature of the power? Is that what we were asking?
Kind of. I want to say, like we were saying that they get a power that is in influence and everything. What is the physical, real world manifestation of their power? I would say like longer life. That would be the primary one. But do you actually get like an strong? Are you walking gods? Are people terrified of your presence?
Chris, I'd actually like to push back on the idea that you get longevity of life, because in the world of social media and media in general, there's no such thing as a long shelf life. So if anything, I'd like to once again steal from the wicked and the divine and put their lives or their lifespan on very short timers. I'm talking probably 10 years or less. of the amount of time that they had to be in power, because after that you're no longer relevant, right? Like how many celebrities, and that's like the loose rule, right? Because how many celebrities still have influence after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years? It's becoming more and more rare to see something like that.
Could we say that take it a step further because it's sci-fi, that the everyone in this setting doesn't have a long lifespan, that it's maybe not, it's a modern standards, they're slightly farther in the future, and part of the reason why whatever gives them a longer life, like part of the reason why they want to be gods, quote unquote, social media influencers, because they need to extend their life through gathering the influence of others.
I'd like to do the opposite, actually.
Okay.
I'd like to think that these gods are burning through multiple people's life energy, which literally burns them out,
Oh, I
right?
like that.
So, when these followers are, following these gods, they are essentially burning themselves out on their followers' energy. And they're also living vicariously through their god, which is what social media influence is all about in the first place, right?
So the follower, are they losing? Are you saying the influencer is losing their life because they're sucking out the energy of the followers, or are they both losing life because one's
No,
giving and one's sucking?
the god is the one who's okay. That
Who's
sounds
doing the
really
sucking?
bad, Daniel. Yeah,
Who's doing the
who's
sucking?
doing
I
the
know.
sucking here, Daniel?
I just
No, no, no.
realized that sounded quite
Yeah.
bad.
No, it'd be the influencer, because your
Uh-huh.
body is not supposed to be able to
Withstand.
handle so much life essence all at
Mhm.
once, essentially. And
Okay.
because of that parasocial relationship that you've created with your followers, you're actually burning through multiple lifetimes in
Yeah.
a very short period of time. So it's you're burning out. You're literally burning out of life essence,
So
essentially.
then, to Chris's point, what are you getting? Literally, what are you getting as a result of draining the power from your followers? What are you able to do?
Yeah, Chris, what would we get from that?
I thought I asked you that question originally. You
Well,
son
what's
of a
worth it?
bitch.
I
You
mean, what would
can't
be
just-
worth it in this future? Like where people are constantly online supporting their social media influencer gods, and they would be willing to what would it be worth shortening your own lifespan to have this glory in a short period of time?
Well, I mean, I think people do it now anyway, right? Like
Yeah. But what is
people are
so what do our influencers get? Money, right? Is it the main thing?
money, influence, and power. So
Mhm.
you can kind of do the same thing. And also, like, people ruin their lives with, horrible drug addiction because that's the experience that they want to have.
Mhm.
Is it maybe a sense of euphoria from having heightened senses, perhaps? Because that could be also be a thing. We could also look to something like social media and see what we can kind of pull out and create into, like, what kind of parable can we create with social
Yeah.
media?
Like what could be made literal that is a metaphor that we're dealing with in the real world from social media? Because what do
Mm.
you get vindication from social media for having followers like your crap, right? So you think you're right. That you also get money because you can have other corporations give you money because they think you're important.
Sponsorship.
Sponsorship. So what does that translate to in a fantasy realm, like, or even if it's a modern day one? What does it translate to?
This actually kind of goes back into what Chris was saying before, where, these people are essentially signing up, but just like with real social media influencers, they don't really have the power. They're being given power
Mhm.
by someone who's above them, like an
Right.
Illuminati sense, right?
Mhm.
Because with social media people, they get money from advertisers. That's who pays them. That's who gives them their influence and their ability to do more.
Okay, so we need a third party that's like the system in all caps,
Essentially.
like
Yeah.
something that is all powerful. And maybe what an influencer or a god in a setting means is you're borrowing power from the system for a short period of
Yes.
time.
And I think that it should probably tie into the death of the old gods that I had alluded
Mhm.
to earlier as well. I think that
Oh,
whatever
okay.
whatever killed those old gods is now responsible for doling out the power to these new gods.
I like what you said when you said Illuminati. Maybe the old religions, they secretly had control over something we'll call the system, right? And it pervades the world. and the system pushes and it's the thing that moves the levers and moves the system. It's a system of power, right? And now that the old controllers of that, the old religion leaders are gone, the social media people, the influencers have taken up those same followers, and now they're they're vying for control over this system. I don't know what the system is, but it's something worldwide and something secret, and it's what grants them their power. And it's also killing
Okay.
them because they're
Yeah.
taking all this power from their followers. I don't know how it didn't kill the leaders of the old religions, though. Maybe they don't understand how to control it properly.
I think that's probably what we're looking at is the
Mhm.
system is the one who's doling out the power in an attempt to figure out how to make it last the way that the old gods did.
Mm-hmm.
How do
And
we
that's where the
recognize-
science fantasy can come in, because we don't know what the system is. It sounds like it's
Right.
going to be more like an X-Files-y kind of thing, almost. You know,
The system just replace word for word the Force.
right, the system.
You need to believe in the system, and then
Mhm.
it will guide you.
Mhm. Well, everyone's tied into the system. Like all the followers are tied
Yeah.
into the system, so that's partly how the system has power. It is
I
all
am
the
one
followers.
with the system. The system is one with me.
Well, maybe we can take a look at like the benefits and overall effects of fame in general, and
Mhm.
just kind of like parse it out. So like things that come with fame are money and influence and power.
Yes.
And influence can be like that could literally manifest as, I mean, not to steal from the Force again, but like a Jedi mind trick essentially,
Mhm.
right? Or it's like
Yeah,
you're going to
control.
go and do this,
Mhm.
or actually as a cooler reference, Jesse Custer's voice of God from Preacher, where
Mm.
you tell someone to do something and they
Mhm.
instantly do it because
Right.
that's just what they do.
So
So that's
control.
like
Maybe that works because the followers are plugged into the system, and when you have power over the system, you can control your followers even better.
right, and so that's a sliver of the power right there.
Mhm.
That's the influence pillar that is social media, right? Or
Right.
rather, this new godhood that we're creating.
The money part could be that the resources of the system were controlled by really powerful organizations in the past that were really those religious leaders or those secret cults, right? Now these new influencers are taking back control of those things, those old resources.
Daniel, I'm sorry to interrupt your point,
Mhm.
but I literally have my head in my hands because I realize that we're going to have a counterculture, and
Yes.
we're literally going to create meme lords.
Meme lords, go on.
And it hurts my soul to
Go
think
on.
about that.
Oh God! Oh God!
Yeah, Chris gets it.
It's meme magic.
Oh
Meme magic?
no.
If you believe in the memes, it will
Oh
come true.
fuck. Oh
Can
god.
you explain? I am 70 years old.
No.
No, I need to go
But-
vomit.
Oh god. Podcast over. Okay.
What is it?
Daniel, do you know who Pepe the Frog is?
Yes, I do know that.
Okay.
He's this horrible green
Internet historian,
fungus
go.
mascot.
So he's actually not horrible. He was just co-opted by Nazis. That's the
Yes.
problem.
Yes. I remember the
Um,
creator of him doesn't like that, right?
Yeah, there's
I
actually
can imagine
really
why.
yeah, there's actually a really great documentary called Feels Good Man about Pepe the Frog, and it's a journey. I would recommend everyone watch that documentary. It's fabulous. But we just derailed that entire thing because we have to fucking talk about meme lords now.
Why?
God damn it.
Explain.
We
The
need
God
why
Emperor
because it's
in
yeah,
the nation of Kekistan.
Is it
yeah,
because memes are a means of spreading influence?
yes, because the people. Okay, have you not seen Seize the Memes of Production?
Oh,
I have not, but I love that.
Okay, this like a lot of oh god, this is so fucking stupid. Okay, a large part of like actual psyops now
Mhm.
are memes. Like the best way to spread misin and disinformation
Yeah.
is through funny memes and shit like that.
So that's great.
So-
That makes perfect sense with this
or
setting.
all of the advertisements that people have been seeing. It's been found that some people believe like the whole Roomba with a knife on it thing
Mhm.
was set up. The Tide Pods increase the sales of Tide Pods.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
then it means we have to step a little bit away from the fantastical to make this work. Only in the sense that if this is, I'm thinking now more like a kooky kind of like investigative situation where it's hard for me to describe this, where it's like um, you're not inheriting like literal god powers. You're kind of inheriting a system of control that is like being a god in this society. Right? If for example, I could inherit, the secret skulls cult essentially, and all of the benefits that come with it because I've achieved the system control over the system through influence. That gives me many of the powers I would have in a fantasy setting. I can call
Right.
upon my goons to fuck you up. I can buy things that you can't imagine. I can like
Yeah.
I have access to stuff you wouldn't believe.
In a more recent kind of reference that I can make is season 2 of The Boys. Have you watched The Boys at all?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Okay, so in season 2 of The Boys, there's a character named Stormfront, and she is talking to the most popular of the superheroes, and she says to him, "You have 8 million, or you have 1 million followers. I have 100,000 soldiers who are willing to die for me."
Yeah,
So it's a matter about like fanaticizing people.
that's
as
what I
well.
mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I mean,
exactly.
they may
Yeah.
believe they have power, but it's really a matter of like psyop influence.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe we made that work somehow.
Because now think about it, like, because you're talking about old religions that have fallen away, right? Imagine if one of the psyops, like a cross, could mean something entirely different now, because whoever has taken control of Christianity as a religion for part of their like ideology, their influence ideology, that the symbol of the cross, the meme of the cross, means something different for them now.
Right, and mind you that I'm not necessarily sold on the idea that this is a future Earth.
Mhm.
I was thinking that it's not necessarily the case, but still,
Yeah,
like
it
it's
could be like if you wanted to
yeah,
run that. Yeah.
yeah, that's correct.
Mhm. I
Chris is
still,
now sharing a bunch of memes, and I hate it.
It's important.
Anyway, so I can't believe that we literally created meme lords and social but I think that's an interesting idea, right? Because
Mhm.
just like in our current social media landscape, it's not all about, like, hey, I got this makeup tutorial type shit, and it's not just about the let's players, and it's not just
Mhm.
about the meme lords. There's a spectrum of kind of weird social media influence that is around.
Yeah.
Although I think that when it comes to the memes specifically, it's not as though like because you can't really predict those. If we're going through like an axiomatic approach, then the meme shit is like the chaos
Right.
faction, if
It's the
anything,
psyop
right?
portion, like how they execute
Yeah.
viral stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is like a certain amount of hold that they do have it. Like think of the debates that are going on right now about the platforms
Mhm.
being used. That they have a higher control of these gods? Are they in fact the system?
Well, I think the meme lords really are those rising gods. Like they're using the memes as weapons to achieve followers.
But usually they're also pointing towards someone they themselves follow. Like you could be very good at making these jokes and this artwork, but usually you're
Mhm.
making them in homage to the person you
Oh,
are
so you mean the creators of the meme? So it's almost like the meme
they're
lords.
disciples.
Yeah, they've got like these disciples who make the memes for them.
Their disciples or acolytes, right? They've
Yeah,
already been
yeah,
radicalized, but they have a modicum of power compared
they're
to
radicalized.
yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
I hate and
Oh
love
my
this.
I love it. I love this. I don't know why you guys are so terrified of it. I love it.
because I think Chris and I are far more in tune with internet culture than you are,
Yes.
Daniel.
So I haven't
And
seen the
I
horror,
think
is what you're saying.
exactly. It's like Chris and I know what's going to happen. We're
Wow.
like we're not like physically looking at each other, but I can just imagine us
Hmm.
looking at each other and like shaking our like
This
I'm a meme war veteran, like
this
I know what's
explains
going
like
on.
QAnon, right? Like he's a rising meme lord who has his own disciples. That idiot
No,
who
Q would not be a meme lord. He'd absolutely be a god.
that's
He
what I
now
mean. Like he's a
wields
god. Yeah, yeah,
genuine influence. Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Meme lord means the disciples. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So his meme lord would be that barbarian guy in the Capitol.
or it would be some of the actual, government members who are QAnon followers.
Josh
Yes.
Howell, yeah, for example.
That is his divine champion. If we want
Yes,
to get that, he is a paladin of QAnon.
He's a
uh,
shaman. No, he's
he's
a
a
shaman.
paladin.
Oh,
Shaman.
you're right.
Shaman,
He
yeah.
is. He's
Shaman,
my
sure.
apologies.
So
Got
would like Steve Bannon be a QAnon like Dark Lord? You know,
Ooh,
is he
he's like real close to being a
okay?
god, or at least he was. I
Yeah,
would
and he
say
fell.
he's a fallen god now for sure.
I see. Okay.
I mean, you can have Pantheon and then have like the Odin of that Pantheon.
So then is Trump, he's not a god, he's a meme lord to QAnon, is what we're saying. Who is the god?
So see that he's an idol, if anything.
He's an idol. Yeah. He's like, because he's an idiot. So he doesn't actually have the power. He's a tool of QAnon.
Yes, that's a good
Okay.
point.
I get it.
Okay.
Glad we mapped it out.
Okay. I cannot believe the direction that this took. Like, I am like utterly, I'm flabbergasted. I'm flummoxed. I'm just in awe of the dumb bullshit that we are capable of.
The person who suggested this must hate us now. He's like, why did I even do this? What's wrong with me?
Or they're super on board. Who knows? They might be all about the meme lords. I don't
It
fucking
could be
know.
very polarizing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm polarized as it is. Like much like you, Chris. I love and hate this idea at the same time.
Do we haven't picked like a I mean, to be fair, I mean not to be fair to the right, they don't deserve it, but it to be what would be like the meme lord of the left? You know, like what would be another example?
Currently, Bernie Sanders is trending as very
Well,
comfy.
no,
Or AOC.
He'd be an idol. They would not necessarily be, like
yeah, they're
actually,
instruments.
if anything, because we're talking about social media influence, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
I actually see a weird like council of late night comedy hosts.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because to me anyway, like I'm a leftist and I
Mhm.
still look at like comedy late night host as basically the same person who's just been like copy pasted. So you could have like a council of them and they like rotate out every now and again, but they're stronger together even though they're the same unit. It's like
because they're using left idols. So like someone like a Stephen Colbert would use like a Bernie Sanders or an AOC as their idol, and then they would have soldiers of some sort on the ground, if we might say social justice warriors. Oh god.
Yeah, see, you're hating it now. Listen,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
No, I love it. I love it even more now.
I'm just picturing like Clark listening to this episode and like the magic system that's becoming here and just being like, God damn it.
Yeah,
it's like, have they learned nothing? I've taught them nothing. And zooms out.
Clark, when you eventually listen to this, I would love for you to send us an incredibly detailed magic system.
Yes, we'll post it.
Yeah, we absolutely should. So thank you in advance, and I'm sorry in advance, but
meme transmission practices, and you'll have a flow chart.
Oh my god, yeah. If you can make meme magic chart, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh
god, just the pain that felt coming out of you.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of ancient memes now. Like, it's like who dat boy? Oh shit, what up? Like that's like the dumb shit that's literally flooding my brain right now, and we desperately need to move away from it.
Et tu Brute is like an ancient meme, you know.
Oh my god, I've never been so hurt in my life. Also, I've appropriately named this Land of 1,000 Frauds, and boy, do I feel like a fraud right now.
It's perfect.
Oh god.
I think I still have a tenet to do.
All right, Daniel, please get us away from the meme lords and tell us your tenet.
I'm taking us deeper into this cave because my tenet it's the same, but it fits even better now because if there is a group of people who are trying to attain godhood, which we've established is through social media influence to gain access to the old systems of power, then there must be people who are not followers willfully. And by virtue of willfully being not followers, so kind of like iconoclasts in a sense, like skeptics or atheists to the system, they
Counterculture.
must be outcasts. And so I imagine them existing. I don't know how we would carry this out, but I imagine them existing, yes, in a realm of the canceled, in a realm of the silenced, where they no longer have access to the system and they have to operate outside of it. But at the same time, they are not being parasited by those influencers because they don't follow one in particular.
Okay, so rather than have cancel culture just be about focusing on people who say and do bad things, we're kind of turning them into heroes, is what you're saying?
Yes. If we're going to have meme lords, we might as well have the canceled to be the only ones not plugged into the system anymore.
I'm not sure how I feel about that because I have an interesting relationship with cancel culture in that it's been happening forever. It's not a new phenomenon. And it's just oftentimes when people say cancel culture, it's literally just the consequences of your fucking actions you did.
Yes. I'm thinking I want to see a mixture too. Like I'd like to see like someone who was, say, a QAnon disciple, right, who got betrayed and got ousted from their cult, right? So someone like Scaramucci, right, that idiot, who now is willing to say negative things, or someone like what's the guy who went to prison, the lawyer Michael Cohen, right? So they've been eliminated from the culture, but at the same time, they've disavowed their meme lord and their god. And you could have people on the other side of the spectrum who are they were rightfully canceled, right? And then some who are wrongfully canceled, but they both exist in the shadow realm, disconnected from the system. That's what I'm imagining. And they have to work together now, even though they came from different ideologies.
Because they still know about the connections there.
Yes. And they know that people are being fed upon by these meme lords and false gods, and they're trying to stop it.
Maybe they're the only ones who have any actual loyalty to those who are trapped within the system. Maybe they see it as those who are trapped, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you know what's worse? You know what the worst part of this particular Tenet suggestion is? Do you know what group of ideological group identifies with that?
Anonymous.
They're called what the hell are they called? God damn it, it just escaped me. Give me a second.
I've never been
they're the IDW people, the dark web people, basically.
We're not making heroes of them. No,
I know. That's why I don't want them to make heroes. So maybe I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of group that would think that they are equivalent to these rebels. But I'm not picturing those jerks as this.
That's fair.
Yes.
So
they think of themselves as free thinkers, and I'm thinking these guys have disavowed the ideologies that they were cast out of.
I see what you're talking. Yeah, I see where you're going, Daniel.
Yeah.
I've never been so
hero you needed.
Yes.
But by the way, I was thinking of like God of nature and stuff like that. I'm like, that's just like primitive tools guy, the one who's like, I'm gonna make a mud hut out of this clay and a stick.
He's a prepper.
That guy. Doesn't talk at all.
Yeah, that's the nature god. Do we have any tenets left, or? Yeah, I feel you.
I love it. I'm psyched.
So I feel like one of the ways to get rid of this is to have a different faction that does know about things, doesn't want to get rid of them or usurp them and take their godhood, but just wants it just like no more gods.
That's what the people canceled realm want.
No, because canceled, they want to it seems
become part of the system again.
Yes. No, well, it's the ones I'm suggesting. Like they've been canceled, and they think the whole system is a fraud.
Okay, I feel like there could be competing ideologies out there because you have it where they're using the system or using godhood to fight other gods, whereas I'm saying it just like bring everything down, anarchist style.
Oh yeah, I'm on your page. Like they've been disconnected totally, and they're like, okay, we gotta shut this shit down.
Okay, yeah. See, I was thinking that they wanted to get back in the system because they
no.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I
because
do
those would be
think
just
there
like
should
another.
be
They
those
would,
two. There should
yeah,
definitely be two of those.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
You sound so defeated.
Let's go ahead and roll into a world building jam session here. Maybe that'll pick us up. I'm dead inside, gentlemen. I've never been so hurt in my life.
It just charges the cynic in me.
All right, let's go ahead and roll the subject. So for the subject, we have a physical location, and the theme surrounding that physical location is pride and honor. So in our world with social media influencer gods, there is a place that represents pride and honor. What is that place?
What makes you be truly respected across all ideologies online?
Is that possible?
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to think of, like,
What is this fictional place you mentioned?
What's this? What is someone that no one would argue is shit?
Because no, here's the thing, Daniel. Because like, even when it's like, oh, look at this cute animal compilation. If you go and scroll and look at the fucking comment section, it's like Trump 2021, and it's like it's inescapable. Hold on.
Like, does anyone
Hold
ever
on, no,
post
no, no.
anything shitty to like our
Wait.
party parrot? I don't think anyone does.
Wait. Maybe this place of pride and honor is a dead zone from social media influence at all.
Oh,
So it is devoid of the system.
it's Bernie Sanders' cabin in the woods, is what you're saying.
But no, because Bernie Sanders himself is such a meme that's meme influence.
That's
We gotta get
possible.
away from that. It is the technological dead zone equivalent. And
it's Fran Leibowitz's apartment, is what you're saying.
I don't even know who. You're 80 years old, Daniel. Who is that?
Fran Lebowitz was a humorist. She has a pretty fun series of talks on Netflix right now by Scorsese, but she's someone who like doesn't have a phone, doesn't use the internet, doesn't have any technology in her house. She lives in New York, by the way.
Daniel, what Agatha Christie novel are you currently on?
She's amazing. If I were a old lesbian, that's who I would be.
Okay. I no, but I am picturing like a back to nature area, but that would have to be both, because there'd be people who believe that they're primitive or that they're too extremist.
Right, but even those primitive, they still have cameras that record what they're doing. So this place of pride and honor would be an entire technological dead zone. Maybe it's seen as something that's somewhat dangerous because of the lack of. It's basically a constant EMP zone.
I could also see it that complete anonymity if you're there.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh my God, Chris, yes, that's perfect. Yeah. So you can have a club that is for essentially the god level up, where all technology doesn't work and everyone's basically anonymous.
So this is a non-tech anon, is what you're saying. Like we are Legion Anonymous, except for that they don't use the internet.
And it's not even like a place where people go to conspire.
No.
It's more just a place where they go to relax and be away from.
To fuck off, basically.
Yes, exactly.
I don't want to feel the weight of my followers watching me.
Yeah, exactly. And
Could
so
they have been responsible for the death of the old religions somehow?
We can talk about that. Yeah. I was also just thinking that it's like maybe in, like PR terms, this place is like, this is a battlefield. It's an arena of the gods where they go to fight it out. And they produce this kind of slick battle tournament anime for them to follow along. But in reality, they're just like, oh my God, I can have a drink and talk like a normal person. And holy shit, it actually feels kind of good,
I love it. Right. I think that makes perfect sense.
All right. Yeah. We got to get out of here. But we got to go ahead and before we, so there we go. We got, what are we going to call it? I want to call it like Club Zero or something like that, or like Club Disconnect or some dumb bullshit like that.
Cabin in the Woods.
Sure, we'll go with Cabin in the Woods. That's fine. Or maybe, or actually, no, you know what? We'll just call it Cabin with like fancy lettering in neon and shit.
The
like
Cabin.
That.
I love that.
Actually, I was thinking just Cabin, because the Cabin, yeah, it sounds okay, but just Cabin sounds like it's a brand name. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Gonna head over.
All right.
And you would add the if you're referring to it in a sentence.
Yeah. Or, oh, I'm heading to Cabin later. No, that's how I would say it. You know, if I was like a shithead, which I can be. So. All right. So we have to throw in the twist to our setting now. I don't know. I don't even know how we're going to do this, frankly, because this setting went off the rails in such a different, weird, interesting way. I want to see what twists we have here. So let's see what we got. So for our twist next week, we have the stakes get even bigger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think we can do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Does it mean like somebody raids the Capitol building? Is that what happens?
Oh my God. Yeah. See, this is what we're going to have to talk about next week. So until next week, remember that if you want us to build your world, you can always email us at worldbuildwithus@gmail.com, or you can go ahead and send us a DM over at Let's Worldbuild on Twitter, or you can come join our community and chat with us live in real time on our Discord. And if you love our Discord so much that you feel incredibly generous, you can always give generously on Patreon. All that stuff, all of the links to that are going to be in the description. Remember that. We love you very much, and we'll see you next week. And I'm so sorry for this episode.